Jim with you up here at the Pine Valleys Pathway. It's a hiking trail, cross-country ski trail, about a dozen miles north of Baldwin, Michigan. It is December 19th, I think, so just a couple of days away from the longest night of the year, shortest day, and winter officially begins in the next day or two. I didn't check to see exactly which. Going to go out for an overnight at a place called Lost Lake. Sounds intriguing. Should be a good view, I think. No bugs, of course. Very happy about that. No crowds. Got the parking area all to myself. Was fortunate to have enough snow to use the sled. The backpack weighs 40 pounds. So there's the sled loaded up. Got 40 pounds worth of gear on it, which is enough to stay comfortable, but not as much as I brought on my full battle rattle trip. But it is colder this time. So the trail goes that way, off to Lost Lake. This is what we've got in terms of a map. Pretty simple, short miles, only about 2 miles to get to where we're going to camp for tonight. And it is marked for cross-country skiing. That's what the trail looks like coming from the other direction. So let's saddle up and head for camp. This is the third blowdown in less than 100 yards of getting started on the trail. Guess it doesn't get much maintenance. On the other hand, that ought to make for a nice quiet trip. Yeah, gotta finagle through here. Well, I'm pleased to say that the blowdowns have slackened off. It's only been a couple and they've been pretty easy to get around. The worst was right at the start of the trail. And this is what it's been looking like for the last 10 minutes or so. A nice easy traverse pulling the sled. A lot of animal tracks. Seeing deer, squirrel, rabbit. A lot of wildlife up here. And something's been having a party. Deer pawing at the ground, maybe? Tracks are too old to be sure. And here's post number 3. So somebody's marked the campsite in some sort of marker. That's curious. On our way to number 4, so we're already over halfway there. Excellent. Post number 8 is down that way somewhere. That's where we've come from. About 3 inches, 4 inches of snow, just enough for the sled. It's pulling quite nicely on this trail. I just stopped for a minute, and the silence is awesome. There's a jet way off in the distance. But other than that, there isn't any wind blowing. It is just perfectly still out here. That's one of the reasons I do this. Times like this, you can't get this any other way. Here's another one of those places that's pawed up right in the middle of the trail. And there are deer track all around it. So I feel pretty safe in saying that this was done by deer pawing for whatever it is that they paw for. There is a huge amount of deer track out here. There's another one. There are places where it's just like a deer highway. I'm guessing that we got a fresh coating of snow probably last night, maybe an inch, and it was on top of maybe 2 inches that was already here. There'll be plenty of firewood available. Well, this camp's not too far off. Lost Lake. Let's see if we've got a view of it up here. Oh, there's another big patch where the deer have been going at it. There it is down there. Cool. There's that jet going by, or another one. All right, looks like we're coming up on the campsite. The lake is right over there. Got some sort of trail here, path, going off in that direction. But right out here, this definitely appears to be a campsite. We'll take it. Time to try out the new camera. Got a Canon PowerShot G7 Mark II. There's where we came from. We're at camp. You can see that it's established. Someone got quite a bit of firewood. I had to prop it up against the tree. They had done that to start with, being in really good shape, but good looking firewood so far. Of course, there's lots of it around here. The trail goes on that way. The lake is just over there. Can't see it for the trees. And I have decided to set the tent up right back here. Got the footprint stretched out. But it is hard to avoid widowmakers here. Pretty sure that's going to miss me if it falls. But should not fall. It's calm and there isn't supposed to be any wind to speak of. Going to put the tarp over there. Don't really need it at this point, but I brought it, so might as well use it. There's the trail going on down that way. Somebody's put a hook into that tree right there. Got my pack hanging off of there. I'm going to run the tarp from that tree to that tree. Put the fire right down in here, not too close. Have the tent over there. And I've got a surprise for dealing with the fact that it's going to get dark around 5 p.m. tonight. I think tonight is the second shortest night of the year. I have to check that. But we're at camp. It is 2:10 in the afternoon. One of the concerns is that there might be ice underneath the snow. So, sawed off a steak pounder from the firewood pile. Excellent, no problem. I didn't know when I left home if I'd be able to use a sled or not. As a matter of fact, I didn't think I would be able to use a sled. The weather said that there was anywhere from 0 to 4 inches of snow up here. And for the most part, it looked like it might be closer to 0. But it could be that a fair amount of the snow just got here since that forecast was published. But regardless, it's working well. No ice, able to drive the stakes. Going to finish getting the tent set up and then move on to the tarp. Got the tent set up over there. Pack on the tree. Got the food bag hanging. Almost certainly don't need to hang it because of bears here at this time of year anyway, but there's an awful lot of wildlife tracks around, and who knows if there's any chipmunks or skunks that are active. Started to put in a base for a fire here, and going to run the tarp across there. Don't really need it, but better safe than sorry. Been going through the firewood that somebody had collected, and they've obviously broken it off because they didn't have an axe or something. So I took it off of this pile of large logs and stood them up and took the larger pieces that they had, and I've got those stood up against this tree, staying dry. Don't intend to use that area for a fire. I want to be closer to the tarp because darkness is only 2 hours away at most, and I have a plan. Got the tarp set up. Starting to get a fire lay going here. These logs are very punky on the bottom. I doubt that they will burn through. Got my lights set up. Empowered string of LEDs. Look forward to having that cast some light on things. In the tent. And then right down there is the lake. And I'm thinking that we need some softwoods, small stuff, to get the fire going, because all that wood that's been gathered is hardwood. Very happy to say, but would like to have a mix. So let's head down and investigate the lake while we still have a bit of daylight. About another hour to go. And we'll see if we can't find some softwood to help get the fire started. Come down from the hill, back up there, and this appears to be a campsite. Unlevel. Might just be a place for picnics and things like that. And down there looks to be another one. Again, not very level. But there's the first decent view of the lake. Lost Lake. Can understand why. It is just tucked in back here in a depression. Let's head on down here and see what we got. Some sort of animal has really been making a lot of tracks through here. There is a deer track, but there's also a small animal track. Chipmunk, squirrel. Yeah, definitely presents the appearance of some place that people either camp or at least have a picnic in the summer. It's going down there. It looks like it goes down and around and then leads into a corner of the lake. Yeah, just get over here heading down to the lake and look at the tracks. Definitely deer track. Several of them. A veritable highway. More deer track. This must be the place to be if you're a deer. They've been digging over there. This is obviously also a human trail. Circumnavigating the lake would be my guess. I'm not going to pursue that up there. Lost Lake. Success in gathering up some firewood to get started. I'm actually going to go get some more. It's going to be a long, long night. Got the chair set up. Pack is still out. I got to set up my sleeping bag and sleeping pad so that I can start getting fluffed up to the max. It's supposed to be down into the teens tonight, upper teens. Not that I'm concerned, but the last time I had that forecast, it actually got down to 5 degrees that night. So, should still be okay if that should happen. But I am going to go grab some slightly thicker stuff now and make sure that I've got enough to have a morning fire as well. And then for fuel wood, I'm going to saw up those pieces that I got stood up there, and once we get everything going. After that, got my stove and a new pan that I brought. Gonna be dinner time. Time to get the sleeping kit put together. Got my 15-degree Marmot sleeping bag in there, 20-degree hammock gear top quilt in there, Thermarest X-Therm over in there, and I've also got a set of Smart Wool long underwear in there that I use for sleeping, as well as some sleeping socks. And blue Walmart pad, of course, and put the Thermarest on top of that. I brought a survival blanket, a Mylar survival blanket, and I may try putting that underneath, because my last winter camping on snow, I actually had melt exactly where the blue foam pad was. So I'm losing heat into the ground, even with the blue foam pad and the Thermarest. Have to give it a shot one of these days. Don't know if I'll play with that tonight, but we'll see. Time to get set up. Got the pad inflated. I wanted to mention that I always use this inflation sack that it comes with. The last thing I want to do is put a lot of moisture and warm air into the sleeping pad at a time like this. First off, the warm air would just cool down and contract, and then it would not be as inflated as it is. And second, the moisture is not good for maintaining the maximum R value, to say nothing of what it might be doing to the inside of the sleeping pad. So always use that inflation sack that came with the Thermarest. I like that thing a lot. Not to mention, you don't get that lightheadedness from trying to blow up a pad that size. All right, everything's unpacked. Got my Marmot 15-degree sleeping bag, X-Bed pillow, don't leave home without that, hammock gear 20-degree top quilt, and also I brought a mid-weight Marmot down jacket, just in case I need a little extra insulation. Got my thicker gloves and a small hat back up there. Let's go tend to the fire. Here's what we've got. Got very fine stuff, a lot of hardwood, but very fine stuff. A little bit thicker still. A lot of hardwood. And then over here, I've got some branches that were dead on the bottom of some sort of a pine tree, or I think it's white pine. So I'm going to take these very fine ends and snip them off and see if I can't get them to light with this junky lighter. I've had trouble with this thing in the past. It's working right now, but it's dim. We'll see. Okay. Got it going with just a lighter. Let's see if it'll keep going. Boy, this is tricky, trying to hold the phone. I should have gotten out my tripod. Not looking good. And no. Let's try it. If I weren't trying to record this at the same time that I'm trying to light it, I could probably get it done. Nope. Plan B. What we've got now is a cotton ball, a bit of cotton actually, dipped in Vaseline, soaked in Vaseline, and wrapped in wax paper. that are living through modern chemistry. Okay. I'm going to put the phone away and get on with getting this fire started. Fire's going nicely. Got some fuel wood off to the sides, warming up a little bit. I may flip that stuff end for end. It's got ice on it on the far side. It is much darker than it appears in the camera. Yeah, the sun set 4 minutes ago. It's 5:10 in the afternoon, and the sun will rise at 8:13 in the morning. All right, the fire is simmering a bit. Pulled the chair back. It is now fairly dark. So let's check out the new lighting. Yeah, I like it. That should be more than enough to get dinner going. Finally got the fire roaring. That stuff has been fighting me since we got here. It was apparently a bit wet and needed to get dried out and persuaded. Made some of my first homemade home dehydrated chili with tortilla chips in it. That went well in my new 6.5 ounce fry pan. This thing is great. And the lights are absolutely rocking it, giving me some ambiance here in addition to the fire. So dinner is served. Well, dinner was good. Had chili with tortilla chips, some jalapeno cheddar jack cheese, and now I've been sitting by the fire. I've been sitting by the fire for the last couple hours, and I'm thinking about trying to get some wood dried out so that the fire is easier to get going in the morning, because it was quite the struggle at first today. So I think I'm gonna position some wood to finish getting dried out and then call it a night. So see you in the morning. Had a good night's sleep. Only got up twice, slept 9 hours. Let me show you around. Got a fire ripping, very warm. And there's the tarp with the new LED light string. That has been very nice. It has been absolutely wonderful to have a bit of ambient light like that. Got the chair set up next to the fire. It's a hot one. Already got out the stove, had my first cup of coffee. Wouldn't want to operate a camera without coffee. And here's the tent. Show you what I've got going on inside there. Got one of those black diamond LED lights, and the trick of it is to use the Energizer lithium batteries that are good in the cold. Here's what we've got going on for breakfast this morning. Got some Packet Gourmet deluxe eggs with sausage, and what the instructions call for is to add 3/4 of a cup of water to this pouch, which I've already done. It's got egg crystals in it, sausage, looks like some cheese. And then they give you an olive oil packet, and you put the olive oil in the skillet and put it all on the stove, fry it up, and scrambled eggs with sausage and cheese and stuff. So we'll see how it goes. Scrambled eggs. Looks pretty good. Back inside the tent, almost packed up. Got the sleeping bag put away, sleeping pad, hammock gear, top quilt. Top quilt had some frost on the foot of it. That was just a surprise. This is that black diamond lamp that I used in the tent. That thing was very nice last night. We've got Energizer lithium batteries in it so that they can deal with the cold. And this is the size of the hot pad that I had in the foot of my sleeping bag. Very nice. This thing is still warm. It's got to be at least 10 or 11 hours later. It said works for up to 12 hours, and I believe it. This has been great. Still warm. Putting it in my pocket. Finished breakfast a few minutes ago. It's about 15 minutes until sunrise. I'm getting ready to start breaking down and packing up. The new LED light string worked very well. The battery still shows it's got all 4 dots. Breakfast was delicious. The Packet Gourmet Diner Deluxe scrambled eggs were very good. A little bit complicated to make, but worth the effort. There's the tent over there. That's where the sun should rise, but I don't think we're going to get much more of a sunrise than just decreasingly dark gray. It will become increasingly light gray. And that is the way out. We're going to call that a wrap for this trip. Hope to see you on the next one.